Yes, good morning, everyone. And of course, I welcome you to the seventh dimension. And without wasting much of our time, we go to our topic this morning, which is simply titled, The Meaning of Religion in Relationship with Prayer. Of course, the theme is religion and its implication. This platform is dedicated in encouraging our people to go back to their roots. Because not until we are able to bring the past and the present together and causing event and history to work for the future, we may eventually not have a fulfilled life. When you look at the issue of religion, it could be referred to as an art of worshiping a greater being. Religious is this art of worshiping something greater than oneself. And if we are sincere with ourselves, we will agree that from the creation of humanity, or the involvement of humanity, from the dark age to the cradle of civilization, there has always been this inbuilt mindset in man, this hunger and desire to serve something greater than them. This is the mindset that gave birth to religion as you have it today. But in the absence of this religion, if you look deeply, you will see that at the end of the day, your culture and tradition eventually are religion in themselves. And so today, there is no man or woman alive out there who will say, I'm not a religious person. Though it depends on your meaning. If you are a Christian, you're a religious person. If you're a Muslim, you're a religious person. If you're a traditionalist, you're a religious person. In fact, if you don't belong to anyone, you are a religious person. One way or the other, we all have reference for some unimaginable influence. It could be God or gods who you reference. It gives birth to religion. And in relationship to our discussion this morning, it is this mindset of religion, this attempt to worship that which is bigger than us, that create the atmosphere for prayers. But in recent time, our people have abandoned prayers. But they do pray ignorantly. But they know nothing much about prayer, except it is activity in the congregational setting. I don't want to narrow it down to like Christians. Okay, let's look at it this way. We pray these days because our pastors ask us to pray. We pray these days because as Muslims, we are supposed to pray at certain time every day. We pray because maybe as a Hindus or traditionalists, there is a way to pray. But these were not the beginning of prayer. These ideas actually distorted some tradition regarding prayer. And so this morning, it is my desire to bring our people back to their roots, to understand the role prayers are meant to play in the life of individual, most especially our people, and why all of us must go back to our roots. And now there are other areas I would have loved to look into, but I want to believe that in the course of this discussion, we'll be able to review them. What is prayer in the first place? Prayer should be or could be considered as an art of communication. Maybe also a way of being devoted. You can pray to man. You can pray to God. You can pray to spiritual being. You can pray. It's just a means of communication. And of course, it has request on the line each time it is offered. Our fathers before us, do not pray with prayers. Most of them were not Christian, nor Muslim, nor pagan. You're traditionalists. And so the issue of praying has been part of our culture and tradition. But I can assure you today, 90% of our people are not praying. And I understand that this work is not meant for you to replace hard work with prayer. If you like, pray from here till tomorrow. If you don't understand the implication behind your prayer, you will certainly not gain anything from that prayer. Prayer cannot replace hard work. And that is why the Bible in other hands say walk and pray. Because they both play different role in individual's life. And of course, while you work smart, don't work hard. Hard work don't give money. If you like, work from here till tomorrow. The Bible says, "Hear thou a man that riseth in the morning and engage himself in hard labor, and then walk the same manner even unto the night." He said, "He shall eat the bread of sorrow." The people who work hard on this world, on this planet Earth, 90% of them are under the categories of poverty-infested individuals. So when you engage your mind to work hard, work smart. In the course of this discussion, we will look into those areas. You have to work hard. While you do that, work smart. But in the midst of working hard and working smart, they are not prayers. So when we talk about prayer, we are not here this morning to remind you that, once you pray, everything will happen. In fact, that is the reason why African has been backward. We spend our resources, our time and energy in prayers. We are such a people that we want God to feed us, God to sew our clothes, God to do everything for us. It doesn't work that way. And that is not certainly the prayer I am presenting to you this morning. Let us look at where we come from, first of all. From every home, we have culture and tradition, which is our root. In the morning time like this, our fathers wake up. Most of them depending on your culture and tradition. Some of them have a praying altar, a small house where they go, they say they went to appease the gods. I want you to underline it. They go there to appease the gods. Early morning like this, our fathers will go to that altar they have made. They come with alligator pepper. They come with kola nut. They come with hot drink. They come with native chalk and some other materials which are not the area of discussion this morning. And then they offer prayers. Some of them will call on Eke, and then others call on Nkwo, and then Afo and Uri, depending on the particular market day. That is another issue to discuss. And then they invoke or call the attention of unseen God and probably unknown God. We call him Chuku. Some call him Oluwa, and so on. But in my place, our fathers will always commit the day into the hand of their Creator, their God. They pray for those who plan to hurt them or plan evil against them in that process. They pray for those who are out there to bless them. They pray for friends and enemy alike. They pray for family members and the rest of it. They pray for everything. And not until this culture and tradition are observed, they don't go anywhere. And when this is done, in most cases, they invite family members. They share kola nut, which is a sign of a covenant. They may share drink. have discussion, instruction are given up, they pour libation, and then sometimes they give the God's cola to eat. Now, I'm not asking you to pay attention to the activities surrounding this prayer. I want you to focus on the prayer itself. They prayed. And you see, their life cannot be compared to our life today. It is not about the present advancement of science and technology that I'm talking about, but rather it is their ability to control, to dominate, to influence our way of life in the absence of science and technology. Because I believe if they had access to some of the things we have access to today, maybe their life would have been better than that. But come to think about it as a people, we are not the one who has influenced the positive change we see in our land, except we borrowed those ideas. It looks like we are the praying continent of the world, but yet we are the backward continent of the world. And this is because, as an Africa, we have misplaced the perspective of prayers, the place of prayers, what prayer represents in our daily lives. This is not about religion. Move it away. This is about the truth. When the new Prime Minister was inaugurated into office in the United Kingdom, an Indian Briton, he did some prayers in his office before moving into his office. You see, if it were to be in Africa, they would say it's diabolical, it is fetish. But he did, because no man fears to kneel or pray to God who is served. If you look at the Declaration of Independence of America, you will discover that many of the founding fathers of America placed the foot of America, made them standing on prayer. But then, as Africans, our mode of praying have changed from that of our ancestors. But what are we praying now? Oh Lord, give us money, give us promotion, give us divine health, give us and so many things. But the real element of life that guarantee divine health, this real element of life that guarantee divine protection, this real element of life that guarantee the safety of everything that we are or would represent, are neglected. We do not have personal relationship with this creator, majority of the people. And so, who are you communicating to? The God of your pastor or the God of your high priest? And you see, you can't find those God because you do not have the mind of your own. And so before now, our ancestors understand the need why they must go to prayer in every instance. It's not only in the morning. They pray at night. When unusual circumstance or situation occurs, event occurs, they pray. I'm not here to tell you this is who they pray to or what they pray to or how they pray. But I need you to understand that they pray. And this prayer does not have a particular pattern, but it is naturally ordained. That is when you begin to hear Omenala, and then they say Ordenala. That is, this is the way of life of the people. And this has been the way of life of the people. We met it here. We introduced it. And then there is another new injected way of praying, which is infused on us ignorantly. And now put religion aside. And if I ask you a simple question this morning, have you been praying? These are the things that will run in your mind. I don't have time to pray. But you really don't need time to pray. If you can think, you can pray. And then somebody is going to say prayer is hard work. No, it is your mind that made it hard work. Because you still murmur to yourself, within yourself, when you have problem. And then some say prayer is mysterious, mystical. You don't have to make it mysterious. It is already. And then another person will say, I don't know how to pray. Of course, you know how to pray. Because you are the one that interact with people on a daily basis. And I don't think you go about cursing everybody, insulting everybody. But the problem is that you truly don't know what prayer is. And you have sincerely not been engaged in prayers. In Psalm 109 verse 4, David said something. He said, for my love have they persecuted me. And in some translation, he said, though the enemy has risen up against me, and I cannot fight them back. But you see, I'm a man of prayer. And so I give myself to prayers. I'm not talking about religion. I am reminding you about one of the secrets of truly influencing everything that happens in your life as an individual. Prayer. Before the invent of the church, your father was praying. Your mother was praying. Every family was built on a particular altar of prayer. Most of them don't even know who these altars are dedicated to. And I will tell you this morning, it does not represent, it doesn't matter. But it was a place meant to commune with a being that is supposed to be greater than them. And as of the apostle, Paul recorded that he came to Ephesus and he saw a particular believers who has built and dedicated different temples to unknown God. Different gods. And he watched among those temples, one of them was dedicated to unknown God. And he used the privilege to present Jesus to them. And now, I'm not looking at Apostle Paul's message, but Apostle Paul discovered that some Christians at that time dedicated a temple to unknown God. So whether you know this God, whether this God don't know you, you have to pray. You have to pray because that will determine what will happen to you and generation after you. You have to pray for so many reasons, which we shall review in the course of this discussion. I'm finding it difficult to make you see this truth. And I didn't see or say it's going to be easy. But I will be dropping it bit by bit until your spirit is able to get hold of this truth. When we talk about prayer in this instance, let's look at how it works. You wake up in the morning. You're not a Christian. You're not a pagan. You're not a Muslim. Not even a devoted traditionalist. And you have problem. You will be forced to say, God. You call your creator. You don't even know him. But somewhere along the line, you believe somebody is responsible for your existence. And you call the person. This is the time you have to tell the person the truth. This is the time you have to say the truth and nothing more. And you say, Father, I wanted to work, but I don't have a job. Please provide for me. This is the time to tell God, I've offended this man. And honestly, I cannot go up to him and say, forgive me. For he may not take it lightly with me. And now I have to lie. Please forgive me. Should I say it's a moment of re-evaluation? And you see, the moment you do this sincerely, there is no power on the universe that can hurt you. We have been to places. We have encountered so many things in life. We decide our destiny. And by our faith, we prevail in the end. This is not because we are superhuman. This is because we understand the implication of praying. As a Christian, I have seen prayer as hard work. I have tried to pray 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours on a roll. Maybe to get more power. Maybe to attract the presence of God. Maybe to move the Holy Ghost to look at how many hours I have spent in prayer and then let him react. But then I discovered it was not really necessary. And so I developed the habit of continually praying. And so when we are having a conversation, even when we are chatting on social media, even when you walk past me and we are not even communicating to others, even when issues come to my heart, I pray about everything. For instance, I'm chatting. I open my Facebook in the morning. And I understand the category of people I'm going to see on my platform. About 80% of them are ready to discredit me and insult me. And then what I do, and I say, God, influence my sense of judgment and forgive these people. And I notice I receive relief. I become immune to their attack or whatever they are doing. I have worked for people, and at the end, they won't pay me. And I have learned to engage myself in prayer. And I'll leave them and move on. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't break me down morally or mentally. We have found ourselves in different positions. It keeps us standing and in control of the situation. Why? Because we understand the place of prayers. Today, have you developed your mind to that mind that prays about everything? If you go to a native doctor, what are you going to ask for? Is it the items they use in doing the ritual? Understand that in the midst of all those talisman or any other item they may give to you for protection, they ask you to make incantation. What is incantation? What is incantation? Prayer. So whether they give you chaplet and ask you to pray with the chaplet as a Christian or Muslim, that incantation you are making, what is it? Music or prayer? And now you see, no matter what they give to you, you are the one that is praying the prayer. Not until you realize this truth and understand why our fathers wake up every morning and they pour libation. I think we call them Ogommo, who pour libation. They are Ogommo. Mana ichefugo na Chineke bụ mmụọ. Were agọ mmụọ ka na ya azọgwane Chukwu wụ mmụọ. They are worshiping spirits. But you've forgotten that God is a spirit. It is complicated. The message this morning is simple. Go back to your roots. Go and find out how your ancestors were able to pray. A lot of things happen in the event of time. The moment we lost the power of prayer, we lost everything. Not this type of prayer we have this day. In the colonial era, If you have come across some of the pictures or documentation of the events that happened during the colonial era, you will see that some women, some certain individuals have their mouth tied. Some say it is because they want to prevent them from eating from the farm they are cultivating. It's okay, I quite agree. But majority of the record have it that most of these people, they have their mouth tied, had unusual vocal gifts that make what they say to work. But their power was limited because they limited their prayer to only what they say. But with your mind, you can move this world. With your mind, you can change your condition, situation, and circumstance. With your mind, you can create your own world. But this come or can be possible only through prayers. We believe in Father blessing. It comes by prayer. We believe in Mother blessing. It comes by offering prayer. You believe in your religious leader blessing. It comes by offering of prayer. And even when you meet spiritual being like angel, it comes by offering of prayer. And for any of this to happen, you are the one who have to pray. Do you see prayer as a vital tool that can help you reshape your future? Do you see prayer as an instrument that can enable you create your world? And then, how effective have you been regarding the issue of prayer? Is it a routine? Is it a tradition? Are you compelled to do that? If you fall under these categories, this is the reason why you are not benefiting from the prayer. Now, this is what I want you to understand. Develop the habit of praying. Pray in your mind. Pray vocally. Forget about what you are saying or what you are not saying. Focus on the immediate need and challenge that you see staring you in the face. It does not matter how impossible that matter, that issue may look like. Address it in prayer. Because your mouth connected to your mind can recreate this world. These truths were taken from us because we allowed it. Now go back to it. There is no better or easier way to survive than to complain to that influence around you than for you to complain to man. When you wake up this morning, you don't have a job. There is a God out there. Talk to that God. There are a lot of situations you can't control. Don't try to control them. Somebody is sure responsible for that. Communicate to that. I remember when I started working somewhere along my life, I needed contracts. And then as a contractor, I have to go from one office to another, submitting proposal and what I can offer. And I did this almost a year. I never got one contract. And then I came across a brother who is not even a Christian. And I explained to the brother, And it said to me, but you have not been doing the right thing. And I said, what is the right thing? He said, did you see my office? I said, yes. He said, now, there is no single minute you don't see client coming and going. He said, I've been in your position before, but I wake up one day and say, God, I have walked everywhere within the city to get a job, all to no avail, and I'm not going to go anymore. But I have seen that you created a python. The python does not need to go about looking for food. The python stays in one position. And wherever it stays, whatever the python will eat will come and meet the python there. God, if you are able to make this thing to be possible, I will stop looking for work. And everything that I will eat, they will come and meet me here. He said he made up his mind not to go out again. And every morning he prays that prayer. He is equipped, he's ready to work. He cannot get a job because it's not about your qualification, but it's about who you know, and now he don't know anybody. That being you crave to pray for, that is greater than you, is around you there. And after I heard that, I left the brother and I took that line of prayer. And I can assure you, it's over 20 years. I've not gone to anybody or any company and say, give me work. I do my work well. My work began to sell me. And so I stay in my office and people call me, oh, we understand you handle this contract. Move ahead. We understand you do this. Move ahead. This is the connection prayers can make in your life. I can go on giving you instances, pattern of prayers. But believe me, I will think of how to introduce those patterns for you. But of course, if you are desperate to know how to engage your word by your word by your word, to engage the word you are living in by the word you are speaking, emboss me. I can direct you. But I can't bring up everything here. Emboss me on the WhatsApp number on this platform. I will direct you. You pray for protection. You pray for insight. You pray for favor. You pray for increase. You pray for good health. You pray for the survival of your family. You pray for unforeseen situation and circumstance. You pray for the unseen enemy. You pray for the enemy in the house. You pray for matters you know nothing about. Because decision about your life is even being taken without your knowledge. And covenant was even made on your life before you were born. And most of you after you were born, during your dedication and the rest of it. How could you solve a problem you don't know they exist in the first place? And now you begin to see some of the reason why our ancestors, first of all in the morning, they will religiously open their door and talk to their creator. It's been a vital aspect of the life of my father, his father, and the father, all of them that I know. But it's no longer that way this day. We wake up, we have morning devotion, it's okay. We wake up, we have personal prayer, it's okay. But in most cases, you are guided by an article written by someone else. That person don't know your problem. And I'm not discouraging you for following those articles. But I'm telling you that in the absence of those articles, those bullet points, prayer points, you know what is actually troubling you. So when you pray, my Father, O Lord my God, Holy Mary, Mother of God, Hala Kobara, and all that prayer setting, understand one truth inside your heart. In a single words, you know what you want. When you are done with it based on your belief, learn to come back and tell God the real deal, the real issue. Father, I am jobless. Raise men and women to change this circumstance. Father, I am sick. Extend your healing hand to me. Father, I need a husband. There is a man out there for me. Create the atmosphere that will bring us together. Father, I need a wife. The true flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. Father, my business is dying. I need you to visit me. It's not in your prayer point. And even if it is there, your emotion cannot flow out to agree with your spirit each time you offer such prayer. Because the prayer point is going to tell you, for instance, every enemy fighting against my marriage, every enemy that say I will not marry, every enemy that say I cannot be married, it may not be enemy. It may be your action. It may not be enemy. Some of you, don't you know, even as a woman, when you are too fine, it's a problem. And you're praying to God, every enemy of my marriage. Your beauty is your problem. You are too beautiful. And there is a saying in my place that a beautiful wife belongs to the whole community. You see, you have a problem if you are beautiful in my village. Because everybody will be afraid. Because they believe everybody's eyes will fall on you. But it's not true. And then some believe they are too ugly. But it's evidence. Almost 80% of ugly, supposedly ugly women are all married. It's not in your prayer point. But you know yourself. The real moment of prayer that brings about the religion we are talking about is that moment where you are able to expose yourself before the very influence of the Creator who made you and before Him alone. I want you to go back and find out how your ancestors used to pray before now. I'm not asking you to abandon your religion. Go and find out. And then in the coming days, we'll review pattern of prayers. Everything around you can be used for instrument of prayers. If you look at, for instance, the ministry of Jesus, He didn't use the same pattern. In most cases, He used spoken words. In most cases, He directed them to go somewhere and get their healing. And then one of them was shocking. A blind man by the pool of Bathsheba who came to Jesus for healing of sight. Everybody expected Jesus to say, I lay my hand and heal you. Pray over him and you begin to see. But the Bible says Jesus behaved like a native doctor. Babala would like Dibia. He sloped down packed sand from the earth, spit upon that sand, mixed the mud, and rubbed on the man's eye. If I have done that today as a pastor, many people will say, oh, it's fetish, it's evil, it's this one, it's demonic. But how do you interpret that? It was the prayer that made the difference. And you have that prayer in you. Activate it. You will see everything you are able to ask for in prayer. You will have it. You see, whatever you ask therefore, you receive. Don't let prayer take the place of hard work in your life. Do not mystify prayer because it is mysterious already. Do not see prayer as hard work. It's only your mind that will create such impression. And understand that this prayer has the capacity to build your life or to destroy it. And so just like the Bible says, pray without ceasing. Now the assignment is, go back to your father if you have one. Those of them at the village. If you have grandfather, go back to all of them. Find out how they pray. Find out the items they use. Find out their method of praying. And don't let anybody tell you it is fetish. It is demonic. It's just different of interpretation. I will stop there. But in our other discussion on this issue of prayer, I will go a little bit deeper and more mystical, so that you understand what prayer really is, how you really need to pray. A lot of things are involved. Some believe that when they are praying, they fold their leg, sit down, and then join their two hands in front of them. Some believe that when they are praying, they bend to the north and to the east, not to the west or not to the south. They bend. Others believe that when they are praying, they can scatter everywhere. And then some believe that when they have to pray, they will go and hide. But whatever the case may be, they are all praying. Like I said, go and find out how your fathers used to pray before now. And I'm sure it will shock you that they were not prayer warriors in their church, but they have lived a life of prayers. So prayer has a lot of role to play in our life, both negative and positively. But the determining factor whether we benefit from this prayer activity is dependent on our knowledge of prayer and our involvement. And so on this note, I'll bring this discussion to an end. Those of you, your parents wake up in the morning, pour libation, throw kola nut out there, do other activities. Sincerely, I want you to look into that, your family. Almost 90% of you are secured. No evil can reach you. I'm not talking the ones that go there to go and drink, because some of them is to go and drink, they go there, not for the prayer. Let us reshape our world by prayer that comes from the heart. That prayer that truly represents our need. By prayer that can mix with our emotion and spirit to reach out to God. So I will stop there this morning. Share this broadcast. Tomorrow is another day. We'll continue from there. Everything I have said so far is just one thing. Go back and find out how your ancestors get involved in prayer. It is time to begin. I remain George ONYIBE, and this is the platform of 7 Dimension. Try and follow us so you can be getting updates. Goodbye for now, and remain focused.